From affordable new releases to unicorn bottles, it's time to recap another haul. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So today I'm really excited to get to recap for you all some of the most recent bottles that I've added to my collection and put in the Hutch. So this type of video is always so fun because I get to start a conversation with you all about what we're all enjoying and what we're putting into our collections. Everything that I'm about to cover, these are all bottles that I've gotten since the turn of the new year. So anything January onward, and I'm filming this about a week or 10 days into February. So just to give you context, it's mostly a month's worth of hunting. But there's one trip here that I took that came out with some amazing bottles. Couple of unicorns, if I do say so myself. So really excited to dive in and share the whole list with you. So the first bottle on the list, actually, I might have lied a little bit. I think this might have came at the very end of December or might have been very early January. I just can't quite remember. But either way, I'm really excited to have it in my collection, and that is 1792 Sweet Wheat. So this is an annual release, as far as I understand it, from 1792, part of their lineup, which is a little bit more difficult to find. You know, the full proof, the bottled in bond, the single barrel, those are all spotty, and this one is particularly difficult to find. I've seen it marked up, or on secondary, I've seen it, as high as like $120. So $40 MSRP, $120 on secondary. I was able to pay $60 for it, so kind of happy with that price. And from what I do remember, I tasted this at the Bardstown Bourbon Festival. Very sweet profile, pun kind of intended there. So excited to open it up and dig into it and review it for you guys when I do. All right, the next two bottles on the list get us more into this category of affordable and available. I've gotten them for different reasons, but excited for both. First is Dickel 8-year-old bourbon. So I have never had a Dickel product, never owned one. So had to start somewhere. I know the 8-year-old bourbon, from what I've heard, is cheating a little bit. It might not have nearly as much of that like Flintstones vitamin quality as people detect on other Dickel products. But I had to start somewhere and wanted to dive in with this, which is very affordable and available. So far, cracked it open. I do enjoy it, and I think there probably will be a review coming soon so that I can start my adventure a little bit with this whole new distillery. Okay. Next on the list is one that's brand new release, and I'm excited to have it and gonna review it very soon, and that is Green River Rye. So Green River was recently purchased by Bardstown Bourbon Company, but over the last couple of years, they've really developed a nice core lineup. They've got a bourbon, a wheated bourbon, and then a single barrel, and now they've added the rye. So they've really covered all their bases, and from what I've heard, all of them are really good. I have tasted the wheated and the single barrel, and I think both are very solid. So excited for this rye. So far, reviews have been very nice for this affordable product. And again, it's always great to just celebrate those more available, affordable, new things on the shelf that we can all get our hands on and start sipping. All right, next on the list is one that I added because I kind of missed out on it in the 2023 bourbon hunting season, and it's the first time I've ever seen this particular series, and that is Remis Repeal 7. So I've never seen a Remis Repeal on shelves before. When I saw this for $100, I had to grab it, and I've since cracked it open, and I gotta tell you, I'm excited to do a review soon on this because I think it gets at a lot of interesting things happening in the bourbon world. It's 100 proof, it's $100. It's kind of been fluctuating the quality of this series up and down. People have mixed thoughts about this one, so I want to explore it for you guys. But for now, I'm just really excited to have a Remis Repeal in the collection and in the Hutch. All right, I shifted some stuff down so that we can make room for our last 4 bottles. And these 4, like I mentioned, all came from one very successful trip. That was down to Bardstown, Kentucky, the bourbon capital of the world. I'm very, very lucky that I live close enough to do little day trips down to Bardstown and Lexington and Louisville. I live up in the Cincinnati area, so it's not too difficult for me to get down there. But I do recommend doing that yourself. If you live near some other small towns, then you haven't really checked out their liquor stores and their options, it's always worth doing a little day trip to see what they might have. But this was very successful because I get to go to different distilleries and things like that. So very privileged to have that, and very privileged to have these 4 bottles. So on the way down to Bardstown, the first bottle on this part of the list that I picked up was a Four Roses single barrel strength. So this one in particular is OESQ. It's the 20% rye mash bill, so the lower rye mash bill, and it has the Floral Essence yeast strain. This one is 10 years and 8 months old. That's one of the reasons I grabbed this one, because of the nice age on it. So Four Roses single barrels for around $100. That's about what I paid at the distillery. I think they're just great quality, and it's really fun to taste the different recipes. Some are probably going to be more attuned to your palate than others, but it's always fun to explore. So on this trip, we then stopped at Bardstown Bourbon Company, which you have to do when you go down to Bardstown. It's a beautiful distillery, and they've got great whiskey. And I picked up a bottle that I couldn't be more excited to add. This is one of those more unicorn, amazing, new additions to the collection, and that is Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series 11. So this is fantastic. It's 73% 13-year-old Kentucky bourbon, 21% 10-year-old Kentucky bourbon, and then 6% of it is their 6-year-old bottled in bond wheated, which I think is just a phenomenal like $50 bourbon in its own right. So all good stuff in here. I have cracked it open. There definitely will be a review coming soon. Spoiler alert though, it's just phenomenal. It's so good. I see why people particularly loved it toward the end of last year. I was looking for it super hard, but hey, sometimes you have to have a little patience, and you grab one a little later, but now it's part of the collection, and man, am I enjoying it. Okay, so the last stop on the trip, the place we were actually doing our tour for the day, was Heaven Hill. And I got 2 great new additions to the collection. First was Heaven Hill Select Stock. So this was part of the You Do Bourbon tour. Basically, it's a tasting. So if you sign up to do that, you taste through 4 different options, and one of them is the Select Stock. Now it can and does rotate what the Select Stock is. I've heard other people getting like 14-year-old bourbons and some crazy awesome stuff. Ours in particular was very interesting. It was a 9-year-old malt whiskey. So it's 51% malt and 49% corn. Lots of honey on this and a ton of cinnamon. Very, very interesting. It is expensive. It was like $150. That's part of the experience, and I kind of fell for that. You know, I wanted to bottle it. It's got my name on it now, so it's pretty special. And, you know, I'm probably not going to do that tour very often. So really excited to grab this one and add it to the collection. And it's a very unique, I have like very little experience with malt whiskey, so very unique to me and the Hutch to add this to the collection. All right, last but not least is the true unicorn of this haul. We were there at Heaven Hill, and we just got lucky because we were there at the right time, and that is Old Fitzgerald 8-year-old bottled in bond. So obviously kind of a legendary series here, the beautiful decanter bottle. This is an 8-year-old, which is very young for the series. I think it's the youngest one. It's the fall 2023 release. It is one of those ones I've had on my bucket list for quite some time. Basically, since I started collecting whiskey, you just hear about it, and I never thought I would get it unless I was at the distillery at the right time or woke up, you know, crazy early in the morning and got down there hours before the distillery opens. So was really, really lucky to be there, and they did an afternoon drop. So just right place, right time, very, very lucky. I don't know when I plan to do a review or if I'm going to for the channel. I kind of have other plans for this bottle. So I was actually on this trip with my fiance. Got engaged last May, and we're getting married in May of 2025. So I kind of have my eye on this bottle as the one that I'm going to keep and then open on that day and celebrate with some friends and family. So it's kind of that special category where I'm gonna maybe wait to open this one. But anyway, that's my full list. That's my full haul from basically the beginning of 2024 till now. It's been a really good start to the year, and I'm hoping that the hunting success continues. I'll just be out there doing my day trips, doing all I can to grab great bottles and review them for you, and of course open them and drink them myself. Let me know in the comments below. What have you been able to grab in 2024 so far? What's your proudest new addition to your collection? And then also, are there any of these that you particularly want to see a review of from me so that you know whether they're worth going out and hunting? Until I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey. Hope you have great hunting success in 2024, and cheers.